Hey everyone, this episode is going to be a solo one, just with me, and I'm going to focus on or talk about gut binders, but some other stuff that I think are important to take with them or outside of them that will also help enhance it. I also want to talk about my book. I have several things in the story notes and the YouTube video description, depending on where you're listening or watching or I guess the show notes reading about it. But anyways, I do have a book out. I recently updated and changed the cover. I am still looking for reviews if people want to just a copy of the book and exchange for a review, and you'll have lifetime access. I may eventually split up the books into more narrower topics because it was pretty broad, and I've narrowed it down to kind of three kind of general categories, and then I may narrow it down further. But my if you want a copy of the book, it's only about 100 pages long. It has some resources in it. I plan on updating it with some recipes eventually. But yeah, if anyone wants a copy of that, feel free to email me. It's just the name of the podcast, Psynautical, at gmail.com, and the book is actually Psynautical if you just want to buy it on Kindle. There is a paperback version. I may get rid of that just because I'm having troubles trying to find how to kind of design it myself. I may just hire out someone and see if they can do that. Anyways, gut binders is something that I learned about almost exclusively from Josh Mason, but there have been other people as well too that I know are big proponents of it. I've seen blog posts, and I know Dr. Klinghardt of of the Sophia Institute, who's world renowned for treating autism, Lyme, and some other issues. He's a big proponent of gut binders. I know of some other Lyme blogs that talk about it as well too. It's something that I've been using for a while now, and I think it's good. They're good for detoxification, but also for gut health and a lot of other things. Essentially, what they are is gut binders, or I guess intestinal. What is it? Cleansers, cleaners, sweepers of sorts. They're negatively charged substances, and these are typically they tend to be either plant fibers, like psyllium husk powder, or they tend to be some kind of clay, such as bentonite clay, bentonite clay or zeolite or something like that, but also charcoal as well too. And what you do is I know, Kitty, I know, Kitty, you're being kind of a problem. Anyways, you can either take these in capsule form, or you can mix them mix them with water and then just drink them on an empty stomach. And you want to take these about the first thing you do when you wake up, and you want to wait about an hour before you eat anything else. And these are negatively charged particles, and they will bind to heavy metals, toxins, biotoxins. And I know some of these even help with indigestion, food poisoning, and such like that too. And I believe there's been a lot of anecdotal reports and stories, but also some research done, is that animals will typically, if they feel poison or if they don't feel well or their indigestion is, they'll often eat some kind of fiber such as grass, or they'll eat some dirt or whatever. Anyways, there's a lot of them. I'm just going to list the ones that I've kind of used or most familiar with. There's mycochitosan, which is, I think it's actually from I think it helps with weight loss and a few other things as well too. But it's, I believe it's from some kind of marine animal shell. I can't think of it right now. But there's also microsilica. There's coconut charcoal, takasumi, which is actually bamboo charcoal, zeolite clay, bentonite clay, modified citrus pectin, psyllium husk powder, and enteros gel, which is actually, I believe it's more marketed and used overseas. But I have bought it on Amazon. I've tried to find if I could maybe find it somewhere cheaper. I know some people just use a little bit at a time. I have used like a whole thing at a time. I do like enteros gel though. It's kind of easy to use. It's just kind of like a gel that dissolves, and it's kind of, when you drink it, it's chalky. It did take me some getting used to these gut binders, especially because some of these, if you kind of mix them, I usually shake them up in a glass mason jar. You can try blending them and other stuff like that too, but sometimes they don't always mix well. And they take some getting used to. They can kind of upset your stomach while they're kind of, you take them. I actually prefer now what I mostly use is capsules, especially because I can use them throughout the day. And there is a period, I think at about 10 p.m., that your gallbladder actually flushes or starts to detox a lot. So that's another time that you can actually take gut binders as well too. The thing with gut binders though is that they do tend to be constipating and kind of back you up. So you do need some kind of gentle laxatives and kind of work on some gut health as well too. I won't go for something like hardcore, but there's some simple ones such as like magnesium oil or supplement. You really can't take too much. You'll kind of know because you'll start to have pretty loose bowels. There's Boldo tea, which I've tried. There's Oxy powder, I believe it is by I can't remember the company, but there's also Trufalo, which I believe is from Chinese medicine. It's a combination of herbs. And while these gut binders, they typically bind to a lot of stuff you don't want in your body, they do bind to kind of vitamins and minerals, so you do want to supplement with some nutrient-dense foods. I like to use bone broth, but there's a bunch of other ones. There's colostrum, shilajit, I don't know if I'm saying that right, black maca, maki berry, moringa, marine phytoplankton, camu berry, quinton, mucuna pruriens, royal jelly, ant protein, chlorella, bone broth, ghee, mucuna, another kind, pine pollen, spirulina, and I also think just juicing with, I typically like to use kind of like low carb fruits and veggies, but I use like a combination, and I think it's a good way to get a lot of vitamins and nutrients in you. So I tend to juice kind of like celery, berries, kind of like strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, all the different kind of berries. Sometimes some kale or spinach, some oranges, some lemons, some lime, celery, if I didn't already mention that. Sometimes I'll use a little carrot. But there's a bunch of other ones, and I think it's a good way to get a lot of nutrition in you. Also, I feel like I'm missing something, but but these can also be used if you're going through, I think they are helpful if you are, say, on some kind of herbal protocol for antiviral, antibacterial, such as like the Cowden protocol, the Zhang. If you're doing IV chelation, if you're taking chelation, oral chelation, like kind of EDTA, DMPS, or DMSA. And that's kind of another topic that I may focus on as well. If you've had, say, like ozone therapy or some other things, I think it will really help, because I think a lot of these therapies, they kind of detox and they get rid of a lot of the toxins in your body, but you really need something to kind of bind to it to kind of suck it up, and then you can expel them through your waste. But another way that you can kind of, a gentle kind of laxative that you can do, I know some people do it every day. I only do it a few times a week, is a coffee enema. These are pretty, it does take some getting used to, and a little bit of trial and error, but I found it's pretty helpful as well too. But yeah, if you like this content, please feel free to subscribe, like, comment, leave a review. Please check out my book. I'll include a lot of this in the show notes, as well as the video notes as well too. And I may in the near future, I'm thinking about doing some coaching, but I'm kind of holding off on that until my own health gets better. Check out all that stuff, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you all later. Bye.